right? Shall we continue?
Yes, sir.
Right. Now see, that's the main difference between microcontroller and the a general purpose processor. Okay, processor is just one IC which contains only control unit, ALU, and some registers. Okay, that much is the that much is the processor. If you want to build a computer, you need all the peripherals. It doesn't have any clock generation circuit, it doesn't have any timers, it doesn't have any memory, it doesn't have anything else other than these three. Okay, so you have to add all these things to the processor to make a computer, whereas microcontroller has all these things within the same IC. Okay, but the difference between microcontroller and a computer is it doesn't have all the peripherals with the same capability and performance as that of the computer. Okay, and example microcontrollers are Atmega 328. Okay, it is the popular microcontroller which is used in your Arduino UNO. Okay, many of you are aware of Arduino UNO. Okay, which is having the microcontroller IC with the same part number, with this part number Atmega 328. Atmega 328. And microchip, it is another popular microcontroller, PIC microcontroller. Microchip, it is AVR microcontrollers. These are called Atmega 328. This family of microcontrollers are called AVR microcontrollers. Microchip, this is called PIC microcontroller. These are the different PIC microcontrollers. Okay, all these are PIC microcontrollers. Next one is digital signal processor. Now what is this digital signal processor? It is also grouped into general purpose processor. Now where do we use this digital signal processors? Generally digital signal processors are used to process the signal. Okay, but in real time we use DSP process most of the time. In the real time means you are right now you are getting the signal and you want to process that signal. We don't store that signal for future use. We are using that signal right now. Okay, we are getting the signal now, immediately we have to process it, and we are using that signal now only. Okay, it is not that we are getting the signal now, we are uh, we are going to use it tomorrow or sometime in the future. Not like that. It may be, but DSP signals are used in real time. Okay, see, we use DSP processors to process signals. What type of signals? Let's say digital signal processor is one type of processor used for measuring. Measuring means you are measuring some signal, let's say voltage signal or current signal or pressure signal or whatever. And measuring purpose. Filtering means you are measuring some quantity, physical quantity, and apart from the signal you are getting some noise. Okay, you don't want the noise with the signal, right? You want to get rid of the noise. So what you do, you filter out. Okay, means you are having the signal needed is in the range uh, below 2 kilohertz or 5 kilohertz. Okay, and noise is there. Okay, now what you do, you apply filters. Okay, you apply filters, digital filters. How do you accomplish digital filters? With the help of digital signal processors, right? You can use DSP process for measuring the signal, filtering the signal, or compressing the signal, compress digital or analog signals. Generally we cannot process analog signals directly. By converting these analog signals to digital, and then you can process those digital signals in the digital signal processors, right? Compress in the sense means let's say if you take the signal as it is, it may occupy uh, let's say 10 MB. Okay, 10 MB memory space. Okay, 10 MB. The signal is having memory of 10 MB, and after compression, it may goes down to 2 MB or 5 MB depending on the signal. Okay, these compression techniques are employed many places. Okay, in our broadcasting. Okay, in our storage also. Okay, if you take the picture, or if you have a movie, if you have a video means still pictures played several pictures faster. Maybe 30 pictures you are playing in 1 second, or 40 pictures in 1 second, or 50 pictures in 1 second, or 100 pictures in 1 second. They call 100 frames per second. Okay, or 50 frames per second, or 30 frames per second. 30 frames per second means you are playing 30 pictures per second. If you play and if you watch it, you will get the feeling that that picture is that one is moving, means the items, the things present in that picture, you will get the effect as if they are moving. Actually you are seeing the still pictures which are being played at faster rate. That's what is known as video. Now there is a much scope for compression, data compression in the video, because compression means compression has a much scope, a wider scope, when there is a redundancy. Okay, when there is a redundancy. If you observe the first picture and the second picture, there is a video. Let's take, you are watching my video. Okay, right now in the background nothing is changing, only my body is also not much changing. I'm moving my lips, otherwise I'm still. Yes or no? I'm only moving my lips. Now if you take 1 second video, 1 second means, let's say it has 30 frames, 30 pictures. Between first picture and second picture, is there any much difference? No, background is same, my body is also same, only my lips are moving. Okay, there is a difference only in lip part of the picture, otherwise there is no much difference. Okay, so there is a much redundancy. Background is appearing as it is in the second picture, and also in the third picture, and also in the fourth picture, and so on, so on. So there is a much room for the compression in video. Okay, like that. So how we can employ compression? By using use some algorithms to compress the signal. That algorithm, execution of those algorithms normally takes place in the digital signal processor. Okay, so digital signal processors are used in compression, and also in filtering, and also in measuring the signals, and so on. Okay, the signal processing means analysis and manipulation of signal. Okay, that's what processing is all about. Okay, this processing can be done via computer or field program applications, specific integrated circuits. They are called ASICs. We will see that little later. And FPGAs. Okay, FPGAs are not processors, but they are better than processors in terms of speed, and so on. Okay, or digital processor to obtain the clear signal. The DSP processors are used in oscilloscopes. Generally, we don't use DSP process in analog oscilloscopes. We have digital oscilloscopes. There we use this type of DSP process. To some extent, we use in analog oscilloscopes, in the early oscilloscopes, we use this type of filtering in analog domain. We don't use that filtering in the digital domain. As long as analog oscilloscope is concerned, most of the time we don't use the DSP process. Okay, we also have digital oscilloscopes, digital storage oscilloscope, and the sophisticated oscilloscopes. In all these oscilloscopes, we use this DSP process. Okay, to clean the noise and so on. Okay, on barcode scanners, mobile phones, printers, etc. These processes are fast and used for real-time applications. The typical DSP system is shown in figure below. So there is a small block diagram which is showing how DSP processor is used. Means in between the means around the DSP processor what is present. So this is the input signal which is coming from the sensor or anywhere, and most of the time it is not digital, it is analog in nature. So digital signal processor is a digital circuit. So we have to convert this input signal into digital by using ADC, analog to digital converter. Now here the signal becomes digital, here it is analog. Okay, now digital signal is processed in DSP processor. Okay, in the DSP processor we implement some algorithms in the form of programs, right? And once that is being converted, once that signal is being processed, depending on the output device, we convert this digital signal back to analog by using digital to analog converters. Next, applications of DSPs. Okay, applications of DSPs. The applications of digital signal process are, they are used in speech processing, image processing, medical processing, biometric processing, seismology, radar. Seismology, radar, biometric, medical, image processing, speech processing. In all these areas, we are basically processing the we are basically processing the signal. That signal may be a audio signal or image, okay, or medical processing. In the medical industry, we have heartbeat signal or okay, signals are some sensors attached to the brain, head, and different parts of the body. They generate signal, and to understanding them, to show them on the screen, maybe oscilloscope or something like that, we process them before they are applied, they are projected onto the screen. Okay, biometric means in fingerprinting and so on, printing attendance, for example. Seismology, the study of what, earthquakes, right? Radar. So in all these areas we use this DSP process. In all this, irrespective of the area in which this DSP process are used, DSP processor basically implements some algorithms. Okay, it takes the signal. In DSP processor means what normally it does is it applies the Fourier transform, it filters out the unwanted noise, and there are some algorithms are there. Okay, we implement those algorithms, maybe image algorithms or audio speech algorithms and so on. These algorithms we have studied in our DSP course, and also in image processing. Maybe we will study this image processing subject in the next semester. Okay, I think we have right. So let's continue. Applications of DSP is also completed. Next, see if you look at the architecture of DSP and normal processor, okay, normal processor is aimed at executing all the general purpose instructions, whereas DSP processor is meant for DSP applications. DSP applications are nothing but finding the Laplace transform or removing the noise and so on, so on. Okay, basically it has to carry out the mathematical operations. So means mathematical operations means multiplications, additions, subtractions, and so on. Okay, in normal general purpose processors, you may not find multipliers. Okay, you may not find multipliers, or you may have multipliers also. Okay, whereas in DSP, we have not just one multiplier, many multipliers. We have not just one multiplier, many multipliers. Okay, to make the calculations faster, to complete the calculations faster. Okay, and these are the applications. Next, media processor. Media processor is much like a DSP processor, but these are used in televisions. Okay, the image video processor is the media processor that is designed or created to deal with the data in real time. Data in real time means some data is coming in, okay, and we want to process the data, and immediately we have to use the data. Real time processing means is this. Real time processing means this only. We are getting the signal and we have to process then and there only, and we are going to use that results. Okay, for example, we are getting TV signal. We don't project the TV signal right away. Okay, after processing only we use that on the screen. Yes or no? That is one thing. In the processing, what we do is we enhance the TV video signal. Only then after enhancing it is placed on the screen. We don't directly place the TV signal which is coming from the dish antenna or cable operator. Okay, so media processors are used in those areas. Okay, and the processor which is used in TV is not needed to compute all the general purpose operations. Okay, these are these processors are meant to process the signal according to the algorithm. According to the algorithm. Right, according to the algorithm. So these processors architecture is not that complex. Okay, they are very simple, but they cannot process all the instruction set, general purpose instruction set. Okay, general purpose instruction set. Next, that is the media processors, and we have given some type number also. You can look at the data sheet for further details. These are the popular media processors which are used in this audio equipment, professional audio equipment, in TVs and so on. Otherwise, if you have a chance to open the TV, if you see the different parts in the back side of the TV set, you will find some of these media processors. Okay, they are extensively used in image and video process. Okay, image, whenever or wherever image enhancement or video enhancement is needed, there we use this type of media process. Means we use them in TVs, some high-end audio equipments and so on. Okay, in cinemas also. So next one is application specific system processors. These are the second variety of processors. Application specific system processors means these are not general purpose, only application specific. Okay, only application specific. This application specific process can be constructed with ASIC. ASIC means application specific integrated circuit. They are not really processors. Okay, I cannot say they are really processors. Processor means what? We have some architecture inside. Yes or no? CPU. What processor means? We have arithmetic logic unit, we have control unit, and we have memory. In the memory, we store the instructions. We fetch the instructions one by one. That is done through control unit, and those instructions are decoded and they are executed in the ALU depending on the instruction. That is how the construction or architecture is made, and that is how things happen in the processor. But application specific system processors, okay, they are part of it is a processor, and part of it may not be a processor. Okay, they are application specific integrated circuits. Integrated circuit means, for example, if you want to carry out sinusoidal operation, let's say sinusoid, otherwise if you want to carry out Fourier transform of a given signal, okay, Fourier transform of a given signal, that can be done in two ways. One, by using general purpose processor, okay, by using general purpose processor, and you have to write the program for the, you have to write the algorithm for the Fourier series or Fourier transform. Means if you want to execute Fourier transform operation in general purpose computer, okay, general purpose processor, you have to write a program for the Fourier transform. Okay, yes or no? And if your goal is just to find out the Fourier transform, general purpose processor has not just the peripherals or circuits, not just for Fourier transform finding. Okay, it has many other things also. If your goal is just Fourier transform, you are unnecessary using a big processor just for finding the Fourier transform. Okay, and also your computations will be, your program will be large. Why? Because your general purpose processor will not have multiplier circuits and so on so on. It may have adder circuits. You have to convert multiplication through addition. Okay, by addition means multiplication is nothing but repeated addition. If you don't have, if your processor doesn't have multiplier, you have to carry out the multiplication by repeated addition. Means your general purpose processor is slow for calculating the Fourier transform, but it is possible. I'm giving out the possibilities. Okay, if you want to calculate the Fourier transform, you can use general purpose processor, or you can use a DSP processor, means most little specific processor. You can use DSP processor in which you have multipliers. Okay, multipliers, adders, and so on so on, accumulators. Okay, these accumulator circuits may not be found in general purpose processors. So what so if you use DSP processor, you don't have to carry out multiplications in different steps, in many steps, with one instruction, because there is a multiplier in the DSP processor. With just one instruction you can carry out the multiplication. Okay, so DSP processors are little more faster than general purpose processors. Now coming to the ASICs. Okay, ASICs means application specific integrated circuits. So in the ASIC, we don't have any processor. We have a hardware. Just we have a hardware to execute the Fourier transform. Means we give the input signal to the ASIC process. Okay, ASIC. That circuit, it is not a processor. Okay, we don't have any algorithm. We don't have any control in it, arithmetic logic unit, and so on. We just have what? The hardware, just directly hardware. Okay, it takes the input signal in numbers, and it finds out the Fourier transform and gives out. This application specific integrated circuit, which is made for finding out the Fourier transform, cannot be used for other purpose. Okay, and also it doesn't execute, it doesn't find out the Fourier transform step by step, like one instruction after another instruction and after another instruction, how it is being done in general purpose processor. Okay, the hardware is doing it. It doesn't need any clock cycles and so on so on. Directly hardware does it. It is much faster than normal general purpose processor, and also it is very simple. It doesn't have any hardware components. It doesn't have any hardware components which are unnecessary. Okay, it has all the necessary hardware to implement Fourier transform, nothing else. Their architecture is simple, means it has circuit only to implement Fourier transform, nothing else. Okay, but to build, suppose I have some goal and I need Fourier transform to find out. Okay, what I do is, I cannot build such circuits myself. What I do is, I will approach one company, hardware company, where these ASICs are built. Okay, if I say this is my requirement, I need an integrated circuit which finds out the Fourier transform. Then they build this ASICs. Okay, ASIC that implements the Fourier transform. Okay, yes or no? Are you following? And the price that you have to pay for this ASIC chip is more expensive because it is not general purpose. If it is my requirement, I have to go to that company and order for it for 10,000 pieces or 5,000 depending on our requirement, right? So these are not general purpose, that's why they are expensive. But coming to the speed, they are much faster than general purpose integrates general purpose process, and also they consume very little power. They consume very little power. The reason is very obvious, because general purpose processor has all the peripherals, all the general purpose peripherals, whether they are needed for Fourier transform or not, they will be in use. Okay, if you turn on the processor, whether they are used for Fourier transform, they will be in use. Okay, that is not the case with ASICs. Okay, they are superior, but the only problem with them is they are more expensive. Next, these are the same thing, application specific instruction set process. Application specific instruction set processor means, for example, this is our requirement. Okay, I want a processor which has to calculate this Fourier transform, or let's say some convolution algorithm. Okay, this is my main goal. I'm implementing one algorithm which uses convolution 10 or 15 times. Okay, we have to execute convolution, we have to find out the convolution of the two sequences several times. Those times what we can do is, convolution can be implemented through software means what we do, we take two signals and we multiply them, we add them, we shift them, and so on. Okay, that is through software. That is one way of doing convolution, one way of executing convolution, or one way of finding out the convolution by writing the program. Means we have a general purpose hardware, means all the control in it and execution in it, and we write the program or algorithm accordingly so that convolution will be found. Okay, in other way, we can directly make the convolution hardware. Okay, just like how we have adder circuit. Okay, sum and carry circuits. Do you remember the basic digital circuits? Okay, if you remember that, how we made adder circuits, just like that we can make convolution circuits directly. Okay, convolution circuits directly. If you have convolution circuit directly with one instruction, just with one instruction, you can compute the whole convolution. With just one instruction, we can complete the whole convolution. So we have a special hardware in application specific instruction set processors. Okay, we have a special hardware like a convolution hardware. Now accordingly we have one instruction. Okay, like a CONV instruction. CONV, if you use that instruction, you can carry out the whole convolution in with one instruction. Otherwise, if you have just multipliers and adders, you have to do it through software. Okay, that's what is present in application specific instruction set processors. Means application specific instruction set process or processors, they have a specific hardware. Through that hardware, you can get the intended functionality with just one instruction. Okay, means this application specific instruction set process, they have a special hardware like convolution hardware, correlation hardware in image processing, and so on. Okay, which is not found in general purpose processors. Okay, if you want to carry out convolution in general purpose processor, you have to do it through software. Whereas in application specific processors, okay, application specific instruction set processors, we have convolution hardware, and accordingly we have one more instruction in the instruction set called CONV. Okay, with this instruction, we can carry out the whole convolution with just one instruction, which is not possible otherwise. Okay, next, ASIC process. We have said this as we just now we discussed this ASIC process. Multiprocessors means Today, if you buy any laptop or computer, you have a dual core, 3 cores, 5 cores, 8 cores, something like that. Okay, I think 5 cores is the maximum. I don't know the recent one. Means if you we know what processor is. Okay, processor can handle it executes instructions. Yes or no? It executes instructions. Now, how do you um, make the whole instructions? How do you make the whole program execute in less time? With just one processor, it takes let's say if your program is really big, it takes uh, 1 second, let's say, otherwise 100 seconds for understanding. Let's say there is a processor to complete executing all the instructions in the program, it is taking 100 seconds time. Okay, yes or no? Now, multiprocessor means if we have a processor like that, if we have 5 processors, okay, if we have 5 processors, what you can do is it working? uh, is it audible? Am I audible to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Am I audible to all of you, please?
Yes, sir.
But there are a few complaints. Shall I otherwise? Okay, let me continue. In the next class, I will revise and then we will move on. Okay, it's okay. So multiprocessor means if we have one program with which can be executed, which takes 100 seconds to execute that program with one processor, you can reduce the time, execution time, by having more number of processors, more than one. Let's say we have 5 processors, similar process, same processors. All the processors are alike. Okay. Now the time 100 seconds with just one processor now can be reduced to 20 seconds because we have 5 processors. They share uh, the functionality. They share the time. Okay. This is a simple diagram which explains the multiprocessors. CPU. How many CPUs are there? Maybe 1, 2, and so on, so on. And they share the same bus and main memory, which is in which we store the program and so on, so on, and IO devices. Instead of having one processor, if you have multiple processors, okay, they are also called threads and so on in the advanced computer architectures. Instead of having just one processor, if you have many processors, you can reduce the execution time. Okay, means if you want to run many applications, you can run many applications without any hang up. Okay, that is the main intention or main advantage of having multiprocessor idea. We use multiprocessors unless the complexity, it depends on the complexity. If you are trying to do something which is more complex, then we use this type of multiprocess. In all our computers, we have multiprocess, core 3 cores, 4 cores, 5 cores, and so on. We have i3, i5, Intel. Okay, you can look into the data sheets or what is i5, how many processes it has, and so on. You can look into the details or features. Next one is characteristics of multiprocess. These are the characteristics, means in what way they are good. Characteristics of multiprocess are: the multiprocess consists of more than two processes or two processes which are similar. Okay, that's what multiprocessor is all about. Next, memory and input output facilities are shared by the process. So for each processor, we don't have a separate memory. The same memory is shared among all these processors. Okay, as we have seen in this block diagram, we have only one main memory which is shared by all these processors. We don't have separate main memory for each of these CPUs. Yes or no? The same is the case with IOs. All these processors are sharing this main memory and also IO through this bus. Okay, through this bus. And the access time of the memory is the same for each of these processor because the processors are connected by bus. Okay, anyway, access to the input and output devices are shared by the processors. The same function performed by all the processors. It is already explained. Next, that completes this different types of processors. Okay, so processing means embedded processors can be classified, can be mainly classified into two things. One is processing type, other one is ASIC type. Processing type means which has instructions, they execute the instructions, thereby they deliver the functionality. Okay, that is one type, one major type. The other type is these are called ASICs. They don't have any processor. Okay, they have hardware directly. They don't work like normal processors do. Okay, they don't have any instruction set and so on, so on. It is just a hardware. If you give in